The other interesting one is this minors accessing the low income tax offset. So if you earn less than $30,000, there's this low income tax offset of $1,500 is the maximum amount at the moment, and basically it means that you can pay no tax whilst the tax thresholds are between $6,000 of earnings and $37,000. You pay 15% tax on that money, but because of this low income tax offset, you can earn up to $16,000 and pay no tax. But what they're doing is they're reducing it or not allowing it for minors, and this applies to for unearned income. So if they've got a job, a part-time job, so if you're under 18 and got a part-time job, you'll still just pay adult tax rates. But if you haven't got a part-time job, then from the 1st of July 2011, you'll pay penalty tax rates. And I'll just walk through an example of how that works. But just to let you know, it doesn't apply to orphans, it doesn't apply to the disabled, compensation payments or inheritances. But it's really discouraging income splitting between adults and children, and in particular through family trusts, and then also income earned by minors from work. We mentioned that it's still... you can still pay adult tax rates on that. But just to give you an idea of how that might actually apply, so say for example there was, maybe we'll say it's a grandparent 1 and grandparent 2, and they had a family trust, and that family trust had $500,000 in it, so $500K, and the interest, say it earned 10% interest. So they were the trustee of the trust, the grandparent 1 and grandparent 2, and the trust actually generated $50,000 of income. Now you can distribute income from a family trust in a number of different ways. One, you might distribute some income to your church, for example, and they might, for example, put $10,000 towards church. The other they might have a grandchild who's grandchild 1, for example, who's not working, is a minor, and they might be able to allocate, at the moment, because of the low income tax offset, you can allocate $3,333. You can do that the same thing for grandchild 2 and grandchild 3. So there could be, $3,333 distributed to each of those 3 grandchildren, and then you might just distribute the rest to the grandparents, for example, the grandparent 1 and grandparent 2. So they might be $15,000 being allocated here. You allocate all income because if you don't allocate it, you pay the highest marginal tax rate. But so what's going to happen now is that because this low income tax offset is going to be abolished for minors, they're only able to then pay $416 to each of these grandchildren, and that means that the remaining amount, I think it's around $8,500 or thereabouts, rather than being allocated there, will need to be allocated to the grandparents. And that might be all right in this case because they wouldn't pay any tax really on that money. But if they were on the 30% tax bracket, they might be paying nearly $3,000 in additional tax there. So that's the scenario of those who have trusts. That's the kind of impact that can have. But it need not necessarily apply to need not necessarily be just trusts. It also can apply to investments that minors have in their own names as well. Let me know if you have any questions about that at all.